Hi, I'm Brandt, CTO of MatchMaker Education Labs. This pre-recorded introduction will be followed by a live panel discussion, so please get your questions ready. To show how AI education systems are supported by learning technology standards, I'm going to start with some history, beginning with Bloom's Two Sigma problem, intelligent tutoring systems, and adaptive instructional systems. Then I'll talk about the personalized learning model and how its function is enhanced by standards and the network effect. We'll see how that is facilitated by semantic matching, which is what we do at MatchMaker Education Labs, and then I'll conclude with a summary of LTSC standards that are applicable to this work. Most of you are probably familiar with Bloom's Two Sigma problem, but I'll summarize just in case. In 1984, Dr. Benjamin Bloom of Bloom's taxonomy fame did a set of experiments with his grad students. They compared conventional classroom instruction with mastery learning and one-on-one tutoring. In a seminal paper, he showed that tutoring achieved 2 standard deviations better outcomes than conventional instruction. Given that we can't afford to have as many teachers as students, Bloom and others have been seeking ways to achieve the same performance at larger scale. Not as well known, but equally important in my opinion, is a 2011 meta-study on intelligent tutoring systems done by Kurt Van Len at Arizona State University. Intelligent tutoring systems are AI solutions intended to mimic the interaction a student has with a tutor. Van Len and his team reviewed numerous studies yielding more than 100 comparisons between conventional instruction, intelligent tutoring systems, and human tutoring. The results were surprising and give strong support for AI-supported learning. Computer tutors and human tutors are nearly the same, achieving effect sizes of 0.75 and 0.79 standard deviations improvement over conventional learning. But what about Bloom's Two Sigma result? Why was it so much better than the 0.79 that Van Len found in his meta-study? To find out, Van Len researched the details behind Bloom's paper, and he pulled the dissertations of the grad students that participated in the work. One key experiment yielded 1.95 sigma, which he supposed was the source of the 2 sigma challenge. In that particular study, both the tutors and the control group used a mastery-based model. However, the mastery threshold for the tutored students was 90% correct answers, while the conventionally taught students had an 80% mastery threshold before advancing to new topics. This, plus other anecdotal evidence, suggests that outcomes are quite sensitive to the mastery threshold and probably to other factors that are yet to be controlled for. Even 10 years of experience since the Van Len study, we still have a lot to learn about optimizing intelligent tutoring systems and other AI-assisted learning. Many of the other presentations at this conference, I'm sure, will give insights into these subjects. This is probably the right time to call out IEEE P2247. This LTSC working group is developing standards for adaptive instructional systems informed by the latest research. They will be presenting in the next session, so hang on and don't miss it. When I was at the Gates Foundation, we developed the personalized learning model. It's another view of adaptive instruction. You start with a competency-based student record indicating which competencies have been mastered, which are yet to be learned, and competencies for which we have no data. Based on a learning goal, you identify which skills are to be learned next and select appropriate learning content. Then you measure mastery, and once the student has mastered that topic, the cycle repeats. This process depends on a competency and skills framework to which the other components, student data, content, and assessments are aligned. And if the solution is to span multiple organizations and vendors, it must all be based on common standards. The network effect occurs when the value of an existing system is multiplied by an additional component. Think of the early phone system. The value of each existing phone was greatly increased when another phone is added to the network. In the personalized learning model, the network effect occurs when multiple publishers, data custodians, and learning institutions adopt the same standards for competencies and data models. One challenge that emerges out of these efforts is that there's no single competency framework. The Common Core State Standards attempted to unify U.S. states in K-12 education, but that has only been partly successful. And when you expand your scope to all subjects, to include higher education, to include workforce training, and to go internationally, it becomes obvious that we cannot expect to adopt one competency standard. Instead, we have to perform semantic matching across competency frameworks, learning resources, skill taxonomies, and so forth. And that's the work we're doing at MatchMaker Education Labs. MatchMaker enhances the network effect by bridging the boundaries between schools, competency frameworks, publishers, and employers. Please contact us if you're interested in more information. The IEEE Learning Technology Standards Committee has 7 ongoing standards efforts in support of personalized, competency-based, and intelligent tutoring systems type learning, which in turn support the adaptive instructional systems. Here's that list. You've probably noticed there's huge overlap between adaptive instructional systems, intelligent tutoring systems, personalized learning, and competency-based learning. Our thesis at the Learning Technology Standards Committee is that all of these work best when supported by technology standards. A few years back, I developed the EdMatrix framework for comparing learning technology standards. Here are current LTSC efforts plotted on the EdMatrix framework to show you how they relate to each other and to standards from other organizations. You can visit edmatrix.org for a more detailed view of these and many other standards. To conclude, here's the full list of ongoing LTS standards work. Each group is led by passionate people. In addition to these work groups, there are a dozen more approved and active LTSC standards. Thank you for your interest and for your support of learning technology standards.